Imagine a winter night, so cold your breath turns to crystals in the air. 9 young hikers are zipped inside a canvas tent, high on a snowy slope. The wind screams. Then something changes. Knives flash in the dark as they cut their way out of their own tent. Some are barefoot. Some are in socks. Parkas and boots remain inside. They step into the storm and walk downhill toward the black line of a forest. They plan to come back. They never do. In the morning, the tent stands half buried, silent, a scar down its side. Footprints lead away and then fade. Months later, rescuers find all 9 hikers dead, some near a cedar tree, some on the slope from a ravine under deep snow. Their diaries stop mid-journey. Their camera reels end with smiles. How did a normal student trek turn into one of the most haunting mysteries in modern history? February 26, 1959. Searchers reach a slope of Kholat Syakhl in Russia's northern Ural Mountains. The tent is there, collapsed, partly covered, slashed from the inside. Inside are boots, spare coats, food, and axes neatly laid out, as if nobody expected to leave for long. Outside, a line of human footprints, some in socks, some barefoot. One set in a single felt boot, leads straight downhill toward a forest, about 1.5 kilometers away. There are no other tracks. At the forest edge, under a cedar tree, they find the remains of a small fire. 2 hikers lie nearby, underdressed for winter. Branches are broken high in the cedar, as if someone climbed a tier wood for fuel. Between the cedar and the tent, they find 3 more hikers, spaced as if they tried to return the tent, and fell one by one in the snow. The final 4 do not appear until May, when the snow melts. They are in a shallow ravine a short walk from the cedar, under meters of hard snow. Some have severe chest or head injuries. It looks strange, big internal damage, little outside bruising. One woman is missing soft tissue from her face, the kind of thing that water and time can take. The scene is stark. The questions are louder than the wind. Go back to the beginning. 9 friends, a student trip. The group? They were experienced ski hikers from Ural Polytechnic Institute in Sverdlovsk, now Ekaterinburg, led by 23-year-old Igor Dyatlov. The others were Zinaida Kolmogorova, Ludmila Dubinina, Rustam Slobodin, Yuri Doroshenko, Yuri Krivonischenko, Alexander Kolevatov, Nikolai Thibault-Brignol, and the older veteran Semyon Alexander Zolotaryov. A 10th, Yuri Yudin, turned back due to illness early in the trip. He lived because he left. The plan, reach MTO Torton on skis, a high-difficulty winter route. They would cross Mansi land, the local indigenous people, follow frozen rivers, and climb open snow fields. They carried diaries and cameras, and even made a funny, homemade newspaper to keep spirits up. One joke headline mentions a snowman, which later fed bad rumors about a Yeti. It was a joke, nothing more. The weather, late January 1959. Deep winter. Strong winds and poor visibility were common. On January 31st, they cached food and gear in the forest to lighten their climb. On February 1st, they moved up toward a pass. A wideout pushed them off course. Instead of going back down into the trees for shelter, they pitched their tent on an exposed slope on the shoulder of Kholat Syakhl. It was a practical choice if they wanted to keep altitude for the next day's route. It was also a risky place in a storm. Their last diaries are normal. They talk about cooking, clearing a level place of the tent, laughing at small things. They seem confident and calm. Then silence. When the group missed a planned telegram home, families and classmates grew worried. Searches began with students and teachers. Then soldiers joined. Autopsies later listed hypothermia, death from cold, for most, and severe trauma for 3. The 2 by the cedar had burns on hands and legs, likely from standing too close to the fire for warmth. Clothing was mixed and torn, as people took layers from those who died first. A test found low-level radioactivity on some clothing. One hiker had worked at a nuclear facility, which is more likely from workplace contamination, not from a radiation event in the mountains. The official report used a strange phrase. They died from a compelling natural force. It sounded like a riddle. In truth, it was a cautious way to say we can't name one exact cause. That line helped myths grow for decades. What likely happened that night? The simplest chain of events fits the evidence and does not need conspiracies. The setup: they built a flat platform by cutting into the snowpack. This is normal winter camping. But wind can load snow above a cut. In strong gusts, a firm slab can form. The trigger: hours later, a small slab of wind-packed snow breaks loose above or on the tent. It does not have to be huge to be dangerous. It can hit like a battering ram, push poles, bend the tent, and make breathing hard inside. Another possible trigger is katabatic wind, violent, cold air racing downhill, that can flatten a tent and make staying put impossible. Either way, in the dark, it feels urgent and unsafe. The choice: they need to get out fast. If a wall of snow compresses the tent's entrance, the quickest path is to cut from the inside. They do that. They step out in what they are wearing, carrying knives and maybe a flashlight, hoping to return once the danger eases. The descent: they follow a straight line downhill to the tree line because the forest offers shelter from the wind and wood for a fire. They are underdressed. The temperature is far below zero. The wind steals heat. They try to light a fire at the cedar. 2 men climb for branches and get burns while struggling to stay warm. The split: 3, Dyatlov Pass, Slobodin, try to go back up toward the tent, maybe to bring clothes and gear. They do not make it. The cold takes them on the slope. For others, Dubinina, the Bobrignol, Zolotaryov, and Kolevatov move further into the woods. They likely try to dig a snow shelter in a ravine. In doing so, they disturb an overhanging block of heavy snow. It collapses and crushes them against hard ground, causing rib and skull fractures without external wounds. Then the cold does the rest. The end: in severe cold, people can become confused and make poor choices. Some even remove clothing in a state called paradoxical undressing. Exposure happens fast. 6 die of hypothermia. 3 die from the ravine collapse. The final 4 are covered by winter snow and found months later, after thaw and meltwater have taken soft tissues. No outsiders are needed to explain the scene. Just wind, snow, darkness, and time. This small slab avalanche or wind event plus desperate retreat plus hypothermia plus ravine collapse matches the footprints, the tent cuts, the fire, the split groups, the injuries, and the locations. It is not dramatic. It is terrible. The first investigation in 1959 collected everything carefully: photos, diaries, sketches, autopsies. It noted: tent cut from the inside, footprints of 9 heading downhill, no other tracks, 2 at the cedar by the fire, 3 between cedar and tent 4 in the ravine, most dead from cold, 3 with blunt force, crushing injuries. No sign of a fight with strangers, no alcohol or drugs, no gunshots. Trace radioactivity on some clothes, consistent with prior lab work, not a nuclear blast. Then the file used that famous line, a compelling natural force, and closed the case. Files were not widely shared, which added to the mystery. Years passed. Stories grew. Secret weapons tests, mines exploding in the sky, KGB agents, escaped prisoners, Monty hunters, glowing orbs, even a Yeti. None of these theories fit all the facts. There were no blast patterns at the site. The Monty had good relations with hikers and no motive. No outsider tracks were found. Glowing orbs reported in winter skies were likely distant military tests or meteors, not tied to the pass. The Yeti idea came only from the hikers' own playful newsletter. 2 later steps helped clear the fog. 2019 to 2020. Russia's Prosecutor General's office re-examined the case and concluded the deaths likely resulted from an avalanche and hypothermia. 2021. Snow engineers Johann Gaum and Alexander Puzrin published a peer-reviewed paper showing how a small, delayed slab avalanche could occur after the hikers cut a platform, with strong winds loading the snow. Their simulations showed such a slab could create forces that match the internal injuries found. These do not give a frame-by-frame video of the night, but they make a natural explanation both possible and likely. Why does Dyatlov stay in our heads? The images: a torn tent, a line of footprints, a lonely cedar, a ravine under hard snow. Each part is simple. Together they feel like a puzzle you must solve. The phrase, compelling natural force, sounds like a clue. It probably wasn't meant that way. But once a phrase like that enters the world, it becomes a magnet for stories. The odd details explained. Low radiation from prior work, not blast. Tanned skin at funerals, a known effect after cold exposure and preservation. Missing soft tissue, water, and scavengers. Mixed clothing, common in survival situations. And paradoxical undressing, seen in hypothermia. Each detail is eerie alone. Together, they match known patterns in cold weather deaths. The human side: the hikers were smart, organized, and funny. Their last photos show joy. Their last notes show routine. That contrast with the ending pulls at the heart. The lessons modern hikers and rescuers learn from Dyatlov: respect wind-loaded slopes, no katabatic winds. Pitch tents with wind and snow in mind. Practice fast evacuation that keeps boots and outer layers close. Plan group protocols for night emergencies. On that last night, 9 friends zipped their tent against the wind, cooked a simple meal, and laughed. Hours later, something in the snow moved, or the wind turned fierce. They grabbed knives, cut out, and made for the trees. They expected to return. They did not. The Dyatlov Pass Incident doesn't need a monster to be terrifying. Nature is enough. The mountain does not plan. It just is. And people, even skilled and careful people, can be caught by a chain of small things: a cut in the snow, a sudden gust, a bad angle, a choice to save time, a fire that won't take, a slope that gives way. The honor wheel of these hikers is not to spin a better story, but to read the one they left, with care, with science, and with respect. A small memorial stands near the pass with their names. Hikers still go there, not to hunt ghosts, but to remember. If there is meaning here, it is this: learn the mountain, learn the wind. Keep your boots where your hands can find in the dark. And when a story has strange facts, look first for the simple human thread. It might save a life on some future night when the canvas shakes and the snow shifts.
Like and subscribe.